So in this theatrical reenactment, I take you on set to show you a character that I'm playing where he underestimates a construction debris removal job, where he's done a couple of those and he's trusted what the client had to say, but this time gets it wrong big time. The garbage that he sees on the surface is not really what's all out there to see. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what it looks like to underestimate and underprice a construction debris junk removal job, how that can go wrong, showing you guys an actual reenactment so you guys could see kind of how that looks, and hopefully you can learn from these mistakes. And I will share with you the insights learned now in the future looking back on this reenactment. Enjoy. And for context, I'm doing a job estimate for a general contractor that I met on the street handing out flyers a couple days ago. And he asked me if I could remove some of his construction debris from the site. It's located inside of a garage. I didn't actually see through the garage door yet. I was looking at it through like a wall that they hadn't finished yet, like kind of like a window door thing inside. And there was no light, which was a huge mistake. You always want to know what the hell you're taking. And here I could barely see what I'm doing. So pay attention to this clip because it's crucial, because this is what I thought I was taking. Remember that. Okay, so that's like a lot, all that. Can I see that flash for a second? So we got what's that, like a bunch of drywall and wooden panel. Oh, is that a garage door?
Yeah, we're gonna go show you.
Okay. All the pallets are going?
Yeah.
Pallets.
Yeah.
This stuff on the, just the wood.
The wood.
This wood. Pallets of wood. And the garbage bags. So I really want you guys to pay attention to the scene, because always the client's going to say, oh, it's just wood. Oh, it's just a few bags. Oh, it's nothing. Just a couple pounds. What's in the bags?
Mostly garbage.
All right.
You can see it's wood pieces. It's crazy.
Everything in here.
Everything. Except the pipes up there on top.
Except, don't touch the pipes.
Mostly livestock. This is all wood, you can see.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I'm touching it, yeah. Okay, it's like wooden bags. What you will discover is it's all what's under the bags. And you really got to make that clear and position yourself in the future. What will happen if it's not bags? What if we take out all these bags and we discover something else, which is what we will discover in this video when you keep watching. I've learned the best way to protect yourself when it comes to the weight and the pricing is to position it where you say, hey, I'm taking exactly what you're saying it is. It's bags. You're saying it's 25-pound bags. You're saying they're all light. That's what I'm taking. And if we find and discover blocks of concrete, tiles, loose debris, big heavy sheets of concrete, big dusty things of drywall, that's going to be a different price, because I'm pricing you based on what you just said and based on what we just saw and agreed upon, not what we didn't see and didn't agree upon. It's very important to set the expectations and be very clear on this. I was naive and I was trusting the client, which is something I learned that you do not do. Even if they don't know it, the client never knows the exact 100%. So you got to do your due diligence and take responsibility and confirm what is under these bags, and at least set the expectation on what will happen if it doesn't turn out to be what they say it is. And it's not even pointing the finger at them, because a lot of times the GCs don't know what's there because there were other contractors throwing this stuff there. So you have to just set the term and say, hey, if we do happen to find this type of material or this, it's going to be a little bit extra. Get them to agree and say otherwise. If it's literally just only this, it's going to be that. And that's why you have a price range and you agree and set the expectations in the beginning. So keep watching to see how this unfolds. Right now I just booked a $1,400 job. I'm going to do this really quick junk out of a garage construction site. I'm counting 2 to 3 tons of construction debris. Hopefully all this stuff's probably gonna be 2 trucks. Hopefully I can rent a 15-foot truck. I'm gonna look around for a 15-foot truck right now. I need a 15-foot truck. I got both my neighbors. I'm actually hiring both of them right now as a test. Петя, привет! Привет, сейчас еду на другую работу. Я тебя вечером увижу сегодня. Давай, я сейчас все уберу. I think it's gonna take us about maybe 3-4 hours, maybe quick because I got the guys. I'm looking at making about $500 net. That would be nice, and we will hopefully call it a day. Also, you guys are going to witness and see how a goody-goody, naive junk removal boy turns into a hardened and toughened urban junk hauler. I'm actually renting a 12-foot Penske because it's taller and longer. It's gonna be extremely tight. Hopefully I can fit all this crap into a 12-foot Penske. 10-foot U-Haul is way too tiny. They got no 16-footers here. I just want to bang this on one shot. I really do not want to have to hold the truck. Well, it's a 24-hour rental, so I could hold it overnight and transfer tomorrow, worst case. We will see. I want to knock it out today. I want to be home by like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. and call it a wrap. And the thing about last minute jobs is you may call for help, call up your boys, your neighbors, whoever, always going to be late. And that's kind of what happens. So I get to the job site. I had to start just working by myself, loading up the truck because I'm the one who needs to get this done. And then that's kind of the reality is all these last minute jobs, you're either scrambling to find contractors or you're scrambling to find a vehicle to rent if you don't have one. And most of these trucks in South Brooklyn are not available, where they either have the vans or the 10-foot U-Hauls. You can't find a 15-footer or a 20-footer anywhere, or you got to go with a Penske, and usually the Penskes want like $200 to $300 up front, like deposit. And it's kind of a big chunk, especially when you're starting out. So you kind of you're at mercy of what's available. So that's something to keep in mind. All this stuff. Driving solo right now to my guy. He said one of his guys can help me unload all this. Totally loaded trailer. It's like wood. I think I got like maybe half a ton, maybe 1.5, less than a ton. I think we're probably gonna be 3 full truckloads. Like the stuff itself is not heavy, but it's a lot of volume. Let's power this out. Now it's like rush hour traffic, so these stupid local roads, but I wanted to get this done. So I got 2 of my guys helping me out right now. They're back at the site assembling everything, consolidating the mess, making it easier for me to dump it when we get here. So I just made the first dump, about 2 tons, already down $300. I was expecting to be a quarter of a ton, but damn, already 2 tons. So I'm looking probably 4 tons total for this job. Cleared out some of this over here. Got a few bags. We already got most of this. Gonna take this. This is all stand, and anything else those boxes are good. And there's just some loose debris here that I'm gonna take. It's not that much. Now here is an important and brutal lesson I learned about sheetrock and drywall and the terminology a lot of contractors will use, where they just say it's the same thing. Hey, we got some sheetrock. Oh, we got some drywall, etc. They act like it's the same thing. The material itself, you have the drywall, which is also known as gypsum board, and that's the super light material. It crumbles, it's white, you can kind of just punch a hole through it. That's gypsum board. That's light. That's what I thought I'd be carrying. And then you got something called cement board, or it's mixed and it weighs even double, triple. It's heavy. It's a board of cement. And originally, if you look at that first clip, you see the top of it, you see a lot of this white material, and it looks like, oh, it's just drywall. And that's kind of the gypsum board. And then below that pile, which we will uncover, is layers and layers, a whole iceberg of sheetrock, cement boards, heavy, long, big things under this pile. But the problem really is the sheetrock, because I literally counted for maybe like this much height, like this height, not this much, but this much height. So what is that, like 1.5 feet, 2 feet? But I got literally like a mountain of sheetrock. I don't know if you can see, but it's like a mountain of sheetrock. Like another 2-3 tons of sheetrock. So there's no way I could take this for $1,400. My dump fees are like $1,200. And that's not the only thing that we uncover. This is just the beginning of the treasures we will uncover real soon. What we discovered is a tremendous under iceberg of loose debris. All this shrapnel, all these boards, all this splinters, this boards with sharp, rusty nails in them, tiles, heavy tiles, cracked tiles that are sharp, just random garbage below that pile of drywall, supposedly, below the bags, below all this crap, just loose debris. And the biggest issue and problem with loose debris, which is something that we did not see in the beginning of this video, is that it takes time to pack A lot of times, the contractor will put it in bags for you, and if they don't, they'll just have you dump it, like throw it into your dump truck. The issue is that I didn't have a dump truck. I came with a box truck. And why is it a problem? Because when you just throw loose debris into a box truck, you have to manually throw it out. Unlike a dump truck that just pours it all back. So that definitely added more work, added more time, more importantly. And the loose debris was something that the client did not disclose. Even though I did ask what's under the bags, just wood, right? Nothing crazy. It's also extremely dusty, so dusty, which is always critical to wear a mask. And in this case, I was wearing like those like that gas mask thing, and it left kind of a pretty serious mark on my nose the next day. But you definitely want to wear a mask because you will die breathing this dust. 6 hours, it is almost 10 p.m. The second load is at full capacity. This is probably almost 3.5 tons of garbage. 3.5. This is what's left. We cleared out all of the wood. This is metal. I'm not touching it, not touching the pipes. We took out everything on top there. All this is metal. There's a couple boards under here that are way too long. That's under all these bags. I'd say this is maybe like a third. If I were to take all this stuff tomorrow, plus the few items over there, I'd say we're maybe like half a truck. Half of that truck. So yeah, it's like I said, it's two and a half trucks. Another thing that day that was stressing me out was I actually did not collect any payment up front. And that is definitely a big mistake for jobs that are over $1,000, jobs that have like serious hard costs, especially with new customers that you've never worked with before. That's a huge risk. And I was pretty much fronting the labor. I was paying both of my guys $150, so I paid $300 on the labor. And then I had to pay the dumps. So I was paying these hard costs. And the thing with this client, I asked him to pay me like at least half. And he was like, yeah, I'll pay you. You know, I'll send you Zelle. You know, I don't have any cash right now. It's already like, 5, 6 p.m. Oh, the bank is closed, and excuses. Or, I'll Zelle you. And then, you keep, hey bro, send the Zelle. I'm at after the first load, I texted him. I said, hey, send me Zelle. He's like, yeah, I'll Zelle you. I was like, oh, actually, my Zelle is maxed out. Do you take Cash App? And it's like, no, I know I got to wait a day or two to get paid if I ever get paid. So now I'm over here chasing the client to get paid for these hard costs, which I'm fronting, which is a big deal when you're starting out because your funds are limited. You're not going to front $1,000 jobs for people that you barely even know when you barely even know what you're doing yourself. So it's important to cover your costs. And the guy did pay me $1,000 cash finally at the end of the night after I was busting his balls, but there was still a small balance that he paid the next day after I busted his ass even more. It just, this back and forth dragging out. This was my complete responsibility. This was my fault for not positioning the job. You always got to take responsibility. Payment terms are always your terms, not the client's. You set the terms, you're providing the service. And you got to understand, because you may have never worked with this client, and now the fact that it's already more than they explained, it's already stuff that you didn't talk about being uncovered, and now it's like, how do you know they'll even pay you? If they weren't even honest with what you're taking, how are they ever going to pay you? So it's an honest concern about getting paid. So it's why it's super important to collect payment when you're starting with a new client, especially. So always take a partial deposit for jobs that are like, for me personally, if it's over $1,000, I'll take partial payment. If it's like a small job under that, I'll just cover it. Especially if I know you, I'll just cover it. You can pay me later at the end of the day or the next day. Not a big deal. But especially for new customers, you got to decide how much to take up front to at least cover your hard costs. So be wary of that. I've been doing this for 6 hours and 41 minutes. I have right now a full truckload, and I'm parked in Home Depot. It's the only place you can hopefully park. Looks like you could park a truck here, the one that I rented, because I can't park it anywhere local, otherwise it could get towed. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm trying to be fair, trying to be reasonable. I go there, quote the guy. He shows to me, he's like, hey, it's just bags of wood. It's in the garage. I take a peep. He says, yeah, it's just bags of wood. And he's like, it's a couple of sheetrock. I look at it, it's maybe about like a foot of sheetrock. It's very long. It's like maybe it's like 6 feet length of sheetrock, but it's about a foot tall. I look at all this stuff and I figure, hey, this is probably gonna be like 2-3 tons of debris, and the bags themselves weren't that heavy. Here's the problem. When I looked into the garage, when I first was there before we did anything, it was literally just black bags covering everything. And then once we started taking off the bags, that's when I found all the loose wooden debris, like a mountain. Literally right now, this entire Penske truck is filled with wooden debris. Hopefully they don't even look into it. It's got sheetrock in it. This is probably already like 3.5, 4 tons. Tomorrow in the morning, I have some important appointments in the morning. Drive over, dump all this shit, come back. Oh man, this is really inconvenient. We said the deal is gonna be $1,400. So far, I've been going back and forth. He gave me over $1,000 in cash, and I said, look, bro, I'm already almost negative on this shit. Right now, basically, I have just enough to cover the dump costs, and this is a real pain in the ass. And this truck's probably gonna end up being like $200 because I have to now have all these extra miles. And as you see, that same day, I quickly realized the lesson is you gotta set the expectations on what to do if you uncover sudden, unexpected weight. The problem is, once you already gave the price and you told the client, you can't really change the price, otherwise you look as bad. It's bad business. The price you give is a price you gotta fulfill. It's especially hard when you're a beginner and you don't even know the weight. But I knew that. I knew that I'm a beginner, and that's why I just tried my best to have both of us confirm, hey, I said it was going to be three tons max, 3 trips, 3 truckloads max. The client's also agreeing on my end. Yeah, it shouldn't be more than 3. Yeah, I agree, it's probably going to be 3. And the goal is to at least get both parties to agree on the language. And then just as a text message recap, send a recap of what you guys agreed on. Hey, I'm going to take out the bags. We're estimating it's going to be 3 tons max, 3 trucks max, and that way it's in writing. So even if you have to now go back on the price, which, sometimes it happens, it sucks, but at least now it's not a sudden shock. Now it's something you both agreed upon. And that's what I would have done differently, is I would have said, hey, right now we're agreeing on up to 3 tons, but that's what we see, right? Okay. If for any reason we do find something else, it's going to be an extra ton. If we find any sheetrock or drywall or bricks or cement or whatever it may be, or the stuff is all loose, I'm going to have to charge you a little bit extra for it. It's nothing personal. I got to pay the dump. I'm running a business. I got to cover my costs and make a little profit. That's perfectly fine. It's not greedy. That's how you stay in business moving forward. You got to set the expectations and just set the pricing up front, always, and get it in writing, text message. It is 7:53 a.m. and I'm driving over to my boy Henry. My nose yesterday from the things. He's letting me use his account to dump my stuff to save money, dump fees, because I'm gonna be at a big negative with this job. Yeah, I'm learning with these construction jobs. If you see bags, you don't know what's under them. Doesn't matter if they're light, because on top it was light. These bags were like 2 pounds, 5 pounds, super light. Underneath this big pile of bags, you got sheetrock, concrete, tiles, and you got to say, hey, if I find some heavy stuff under there, like I'm accounting for you for this job, I'm expecting to do 2-3 tons. If we're over that limit, I'm gonna have to charge you overage. If you're telling me there's only bags under here, okay, we'll do whatever I quoted you. But if I take all these bags off and I find that there is all this heavy shit, like right now I'm probably doing like 4 or 5 tons over what we agreed. 3 was supposed to be the max. I'm probably gonna be like at 5, 6 today. I don't know. It's a lot. 5 tons at least today. Yeah, that is putting me at an. And the guy was like, oh, I've been in this business for a while. Well, if you've been in the business for a while, then you know that this is a lot of weight. So I'm gonna tell him that. I'll be like, yo, bro, then well, how else do you explain this? I told you it's gonna be like 2.5, 3 trucks, and that's true. That's what. Right now, this is the second load. We have another half truck coming up. But regarding the weight, it's like, bro, like you know how much weight this was. It's my mistake, but it's not gonna happen again. Thankfully, I got Henry, very good guy. He's letting me use his account to save on the dump fees. So I don't know how much it's gonna be, but he said it's gonna be probably cheaper. So very good guy. I definitely owe him big time. Oh man, Henry's the best. This guy is the true G. Still paid $300 just because it was slightly overweight, but I knew 3 tons. So I'm already at 600 out of pocket. We agreed around 3 tons, and this is already gonna be like almost 6 tons, almost double. So at this point, I called the client. I told him I'm on my way, and he actually said, the most I can give you is $1,600 for all this. And I had already spent $1,200. He still owed me $200, so I actually already spent like my own money on this out of pocket. Now I knew that there was gonna be at least 1.5, 2 tons going back, and then maybe another ton of scrap metal, which is something I get paid for, but you still gotta load it into the truck. It still takes time and effort. And on top of that, my truck rental was almost over, so I would have been charged double for the Penske. So now I'm looking at maybe another $500 to $600 in costs just to get this last bit of garbage. So we ended up agreeing that we're gonna just cut it, and I'm gonna, even though originally the deal was $1,400, a way to kind of save the deal and your reputation when this happens, and to not sour, the relations, even though it wasn't the best type of transaction, is just take the L yourself on your labor. And that's something what I did. I said, look, I'll do it for $1,200. We'll end it at that. Not 14. Originally I said I'd take it all 14, but hey, I underestimated it. It's my fault. $1,200, you cover my hard costs. That's it. We cover the truck, the dump fee, the labor. That's it. I do this for zero. I learned the lesson. We cleared out all your stuff. You get a deal, so be thankful. And that's what we did. It is almost 2 p.m. and I am returning my Penske truck. Just cleaned it up, and I did not take the last load, the last half load of stuff, because I don't want to pay twice for my vehicle. I don't want to dirty it up all over again. I'm already, I'd say $1,200 in hard costs. And I told the guy, he's like, oh, I'm not happy that you're not taking my stuff. I'm like, look, bro, I'm not happy that there was an iceberg of wooden debris and sheetrock, when originally it was supposed to be a layer like this, but it's a layer like this to the floor of sheetrock and debris. You said it was all bags of wood, 5 to 10 pound bags. Nah. Once we took out all the bags, I'll show you guys the photos. There was literally a mountain under the ocean, a little island that peeks out like this with a mountain of shit underneath. We got rid of all that stuff, and I said, bro, be happy. We took it all for you. You got a deal. And I was like, because it's my mistake, because I underestimated it, I'm gonna take the loss. I'm gonna work for free on this job, cover my hard costs. We got no hard feelings. Give me $1,200. I covered my costs. I paid my guys. I paid for this. Paid for all this, and we're good. I originally quoted him for $1,400, and then yesterday I was like, I'll take it all for $16. But today I don't want to even deal with it. I said $1,200. You got to deal with fair and square. He said he's gonna Zell me, and the big lesson here is no more of these Zells, no Venmos, no Cash Apps, no more of these excuses. Oh, my Zell's maxed. That's not my problem. I came here to pick up the junk. I'm here to get the cash. Cash in hand, we start loading right away. I'm not loading anything until we have cash. And I realized I don't have the leverage because I don't have the dump truck. The dump truck, you can just dump all this shit out. I don't load the truck until we got cash in hand. Gotta be fucking hard.
Stop! What are you doing? What are you doing? You're clogging me up! Mister! What are you supposed you're going? You motherfucker! You motherfucker!
Because this shit is straight fucking work. And on top of the work, I got hard fucking costs. I'm paying for the truck. I'm paying for the dump fee. I'm paying for the crew. This shit ain't free. It's fucking business. No more bullshit. So if I were to do the whole thing over again, I would have been super specific and take photos. Because that start from the beginning, once we went outside, I would have took photos on your phone of each thing that you're taking. So like, okay, we're taking this pile, okay, this pile, this pile, this pile, and confirm this is what you're taking. That's it. Because even though originally we said we're taking these things, when I came back the second time, he's like, oh, could you also pick up these panel things on the side? And it just adds to the weight, adds to the volume, because there were small things that kind of, they didn't weigh much, but they took up a lot of space. I didn't see them initially. So the first thing is just take photos and a video of everything you're doing, get it in agreement on camera. Hey, I'm taking that, okay. Next, the big removal was in the garage. In there, right when you lifted up that gate, you see a lot of bags. And let me just play the footage. But the first thing I see at least 100 bags. And I would ask them, what's in the bags? And yeah, he said, oh, it's just wood, nothing crazy. And that's fine. Now you got to flip it around and say, what if there's demo debris in them? Then what? What if the bags end up having heavier stuff? Then what? Flip it back onto the client. Have them answer the question for you. What if we end up finding big long boards of wood or cinder blocks or tiles or concrete? How do you want us to approach it in that situation? Just ask questions. And that's what I've learned, is to not tell them, but just have the client answer your questions. What if? And now by them answering your question, you're kind of putting the entire pricing responsibility onto them, because they're now speaking out loud of the scope. Because originally you're saying, hey, I see like 100 bags and maybe a few boards and some gypsum boards, but what do I do if I find some heavy stuff? What if it's over 3 tons? Then what do I do? And put that on them. And now they'll say, it shouldn't be more than that. Oh, I promise you, it's just gonna be that, nothing else. Now you're protected because you said, hey, I'm gonna take just this. I estimate it's probably gonna be like 2-3 tons. And now, if you do take all that stuff off, and you do happen to find now heavy cinder blocks and tiles and stuff, it's like, hey man, maybe you weren't aware of this, but this is definitely a lot more weight for me now. Like, I got to pay for this. And that's why it's super important to set the expectations and position yourself with the pricing up front before you even do it. So in this case, I would have said, hey, if we do happen to find stuff like that, I'm gonna have to charge you for it. I'm gonna have to charge you like another, XYZ for the weight if we do. And I would say in the beginning, I was pretty accurate with the volume because it came out to being about 2.5 truckloads. But the weight is something I was not accurate with. But it all comes down to setting the price. That's how you protect yourself. And you just have a price range. So hey, we're gonna agree on this. But if it goes overboard, this is the overage. Especially if these kind of materials start popping up. And most contractors, once they actually start answering your question and saying, yeah, actually, if there is cinder blocks and tiles, I guess it will be more weight. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay more. And they've said it and they understand it. So that's really all it is. Just communication is key. And it's your responsibility to communicate. Remember that. And also, if you want more content like this, like and sub to the channel helps a lot. Really thankful for you guys to even watch this stuff. Appreciate it big time. Looking forward to see you guys in the next video. Let's go.